Hello everyone. So welcome to another topic, difference between traditional or discriminative AI versus generative AI. So let's understand the difference between traditional machine learning and generative AI. So traditional machine learning, using this, you can classify or predict outcomes based on the input data. But when it comes to generative AI, you it generates new data that is similar to the data that it was trained on. So traditional ML, it's trained on a labeled dataset, whereas generative AI, generative models, it's trained on unlabeled datasets. So generative models, it understands the distribution of data and how likely a given example is. And whereas traditional machine learning, it learns the relationship between the features of labeled data points. And when it comes to generative models, generative AI, it can predict next word in the sequence. So here are some of the examples what traditional ML can do and what generative AI can do. So with traditional ML, these are the use cases. Like you can do predictive analytics, that is in business forecasting. You can do spam filters in email system. You can do recommendation systems in streaming services, etc. So these are some of the examples of traditional machine learning. So when it comes to generative AI, you can create new images or artwork. You can generate realistic human like text. You can compose music or lyrics. So these are some of the examples of generative AI. Next, see what are the characteristics of traditional machine learning, that is discriminative AI, and what are the characteristics of generative AI. So, traditional machine learning is a supervised learning. So, it often relies on labeled datasets, and it is also trained on labeled datasets. So labeling data is very expensive. You have there is a lot of data science work, data engineering work involved. So lot of labeling we have to do. So it's an expensive task, and also it's a time consuming. And one more characteristic of traditional machine learning is to predict accuracy. So it emphasizes the accuracy of prediction based on known data. And another characteristic of traditional machine learning is analytical approach. It aims to understand data and draw conclusions. Okay. So when it comes to generative AI, so it can create output um, that is new. So it produces new content based on the data that it has been trained on. Okay, so it uses model types such as generative adversarial networks, which we already discussed, variational autoencoders for content generation. So I have discussed in a brief about these model types in my uh, video. So you can do go and check it out. So it's generative AI is innovation focused. So it pushes the boundaries of what machines can create. So here is an example diagram where you can see predictive ML or traditional ML or discriminative ML. So we have various tasks. So that, I mean, all these tasks, it is the label data is trained, and so it's perform these individual tasks separately. But when it comes to generative AI, it has massive external data. It has text, it has songs, it has images, it has videos, it has locations, internet data, completely massive amount of external internet data it's been trained on. So it's a massive foundational model. So against this foundational model, when you do a prompting, when you use prompt engineering. You can perform multiple tasks like question and answering, translate certain text into another language, summarizing, or write uh, ability to write the code. Then you can fine tune that model for specific tasks to your domain related. Like you can use the foundation model and fine tune it for specific purpose only. Like for example, you will fine tune the model to generate code only, to debug code only, or classify only. So like this you can fine tune your foundation model. So why do we have to understand the difference between traditional machine learning and generative AI? So the distinction that we need to understand is very important, because when we are trying to solve the problem, we need to know what kind of AI to use. Okay, so if the problem that we are solving is a classification or prediction task, so it's better to use discriminative models, because discriminative models, they excel, they perform well in classification and prediction tasks. That makes them suitable for analytical applications. On the other hand, generative models are unparalleled in their ability to create innovative, that makes them good fit for tasks that requires creating new content. Okay, so understanding whether we want whether the use case of what we are trying to solve is important, that makes us use the right approach, whether use traditional ML or use generative AI. So that is the reason why we have gone through this topic. So before you start out solving your problem in AI, try to find out what kind of use case that you're trying to solve. Okay, so I hope I was able to explain this clearly. Until then, we'll meet next time. Thank you. Bye bye.